Hey guys, welcome to MNMM PTE NAATI. Today's video is about PTE Core speaking section. So what I did was I recently gave my PTE Core exam and I was successful in getting 90 in all four modules and hence 90 overall as well. So what I have planned is today I will be sharing tips or golden rules, golden tips I would say for getting a perfect 90 in your PTE Core exam. So if you're planning to give your PTE Core, this video is definitely for you. Make sure you take notes. And before we dive deep in, if you're after PTE Core or PTE Academic coaching, or after NAATI coaching, NAATI Hindi, Punjabi, or Gujarati, then you can always contact us using Facebook Messenger or Instagram. The link is in the description below, or you can simply search for MNMMPT NAATI. You'll find us, you can message us, and we are more than happy to discuss about coaching and whatever we can do in the best possible way to help you for your PT or for your NAATI exam. Now let's start with this video and let us cover all 5 topics of speaking section. So we are aware that in PTE Core we have 5 topics, out of which 4 are exactly same as PTE Academic, but one is not. So we will discuss everything. So we have our read aloud, we have our repeat sentence, we have describe image, then we have respond to a situation and answer short questions. We will cover all 5 one by one. So the very first topic in speaking is read aloud, and that's how your speaking test starts. Now, whenever your test starts with read aloud, you have to make sure that you first keep yourself calm and composed before you start your speaking section, because this is the beginning of your test. And when you start your test, you're very nervous, you're anxious, maybe you're stressed, and when all these things are there with you, maybe it might have a negative impact on your speaking, especially because that's the very first section you will tackle. By the time you're done with speaking, you might relax a bit, but then it's too late. So I would say just before you start your speaking, make sure that you're not nervous, you're not shaking your legs, you're not stressing, you're not sweating. Just keep yourself calm and then start speaking so that you don't spoil anything. So the very first thing, read aloud, looks like this on your computer screen. You will have a paragraph that you are supposed to read. They will give you some time to prepare. They will either give you 30 seconds or 35 seconds. When I recently gave my test, all the questions that I got, 6 to 7 questions, all of them were either 30 seconds preparation time or 35 seconds preparation time. So first, they always give you some time to prepare. So when they give you some time to prepare, the microphone is off and you have to prepare by speaking a little louder so that when you actually speak, you're not making any mistakes. So never speak in your brain or in your mind. Actually speak it so that you can listen to yourself. That is the most important tip for read aloud, right? Now, we all know that it's giving scores to reading and speaking. Speaking is getting around 20-25 marks. Reading is getting around 35-40 marks. These are huge numbers. Read aloud is an extremely important topic, not only for speaking, but also for reading section. So if you mess read aloud, which is the very first question of your exam, it will impact negatively on your reading section as well. Hence, you have to be very confident so that when you speak, you're speaking clearly without hesitation and you get a very good score for your read aloud. Now, what are the things you need to be careful of when you do read aloud? 3 factors: fluency, pronunciation, and content. What is fluency? Fluency means to speak in a flow, in a good flow, without hesitation or without unwanted pauses. So when you speak and you're like, you make mistakes, you come back, you say sorry, all these hesitations in your speaking is a bad fluency. Fluency does not mean that you have to speak very fast. You're not a robot. You are a human being. You have to talk normally. You have to speak in a good flow. That's it. But don't speak so fast that you're not even able to breathe. And we will do one question. I will show you how to speak, but you just have to keep in mind that you have to maintain a proper fluency. Speaking fluently means you have to, whenever you want to understand what is a good fluency, just imagine yourself speaking your first language. Whenever you speak your first language, how do you speak? You speak so confidently, without making errors, without hesitating. That is a good fluency, and you have to speak exactly like that. Your English in your PT exam should be like the way you speak your first language. that is a good fluency, right? Pronunciation means to speak clearly so that whatever you are speaking is clearly understandable by the computer. And content means whatever is there on your computer screen, you have to read it the way it is given to you. And we will read the entire paragraph from the first word till the last word. We will not skip anything. There is no other shortcuts that we will use in read aloud. We will read the entire paragraph the way it is given. Next is accent, speed, and volume. Now, accent, we all have different accents, and your accent is based on the country you were born, or you were raised, or you had your education. So, depending on that, you will have a specific accent. Like I have my accent, and there is absolutely no need to change your accent. Accent has nothing to do with your score. You can stick to your accent and still get a full 90. Computer doesn't care what accent you have. Computer does care about fluency, pronunciation, and content, which is nowhere related to your accent. Speak normally the way you normally speak, because when you speak the way you are, you will make less mistakes or maybe no mistakes. But if you try and be someone else, if you try and create fake accents, you might mess it up, which is not recommended. Speed, speak at a normal speed. All right. Sometimes people speak too fast and they are like huffing and puffing because they're short of breath, they cannot breathe. Not recommended again. Volume, you are wearing a very good quality headphone. You do not need to scream, shout. You do not need to be loud. Just speak at a normal volume the way you're talking to someone. If that person sits next to you, there is no need to shout and scream. It is not recommended, because if you shout a lot, sometimes you may get warnings from the examiner, because if somebody complains, or even if somebody doesn't complain, the examiner can give you a warning that you need to reduce your volume. Or if you scream too much, maybe your pitch goes very high and you're outside microphone's range. So there are a lot of disadvantages of speaking too loud. Speak at a normal volume. Next is stressing and intonation. What is stressing and intonation? When we speak, we are human beings. We have expression in our speaking, right? Some words we might speak with a lot of energy, some words we speak normal. So you have to make sure that you speak like a human being, because you are one. You don't speak like a dead person or a robot. Like, there is an absolute monotonous way of speaking. We don't do that. We will have ups and downs in our speaking. Some words we might stress. So I normally, if you look at the next point, which is singular plural, which is some words will have s at the end, some will not. And past and present, some words will have ed at the end, which is past. I normally tell my students that if you're struggling to understand where can you stress and have that highs and lows, on words which has plural or past tense, you can try and stress on those words. What will that do is it will create some variation in your speaking. You will not have a monotonous way of speaking. And when you speak words which are plural or in past tense with some stress on it, it will sound more clear to the computer, and it will be very obvious that this is a plural word and this is a word with past tense in it. Last is false start corrections. Sometimes what happens is we might start speaking and then we realize that we have made an error, and then we start speaking again. That is not recommended. If you've made an error of a word in read aloud, just continue the way you're normally speaking and do not come back and repeat the whole thing. That is not needed. Otherwise, you're adding too much of content. Even if you have one word in the paragraph, you feel this is too hard, I can't speak it. While you prepare, you will understand that this is a very difficult word for me. Just skip that one word. Skipping one word will not impact your score. Yes, you're not supposed to skip 10 words. But if you've skipped one word in a paragraph because it's a very long or a very difficult word and you can't pronounce it, I would rather skip it than pronouncing it wrong or hesitating at that word. Now let us look at this question. Let's say they have given you preparation time. So what I'll do is I'll prepare like this. Once you have picked a general topic for your paper, you need to come up with a thesis. Your thesis is the main and focal point of your paper, and it's the position you'll take on your particular topic. Formulating a strong thesis is one of the most important things you need to do to ace your paper. Now, I've spoken so that I can listen to what I'm saying. Don't speak in your mind. That preparation is not good. Okay? Obviously, you have to wait for those 30-35 seconds to finish. Then you listen to a beep sound. and then you start speaking. Once you listen to the beep sound, start speaking immediately. The moment you finish your answer, click next and move on to the next question. All right? So this is how you speak for your actual answering time. And answering time will always be same as preparation time. So if they have given you 30 seconds to prepare, they will give you 30 seconds to answer as well. And if you've finished your answer in, let's say, 20 seconds, don't wait for the remaining time. So this is how you will speak your read aloud. Once you have picked a general topic for your paper, you need to come up with a thesis. Your thesis is the main and focal point of your paper, and it's the position you'll take on your particular topic. Formulating a strong thesis is one of the most important things you need to do to ace your paper. So I did pause at every punctuation, for example, full stop, comma, so that I can breathe, which is absolutely fine to do. You can pause and you should pause at every punctuation so that you can breathe, you can be relaxed, and you can finish your entire paragraph without hesitating and clearly. If you don't take pauses there, then you'll be struggling to breathe and you will not be clear. You might say words that are not clear to the computer. So this is what I would do for my read aloud. Let's move on. The next topic in your speaking section is repeat sentence after read aloud. This is definitely one of the most difficult topics of your exam. I absolutely agree with that. It's because you have to make sure that you practice this topic a lot. I always tell my students that you should practice repeat sentence regularly, because if you don't practice this topic every single day, there is no way you feel confident while doing it. So the question itself is very clear: repeat sentence, which means you will listen to a sentence and your job is to repeat it. Over here, there is nothing called preparation time. You just listen and then your screen says recording. Recording means the microphone is on and you have to immediately start speaking, which means you will immediately start answering. You will repeat the same sentence, the one you just heard. All right. Now, contributes towards listening and speaking. Definitely, because you are listening first, so it is also going to listening section, and then you're speaking. So two skills are getting tested: listening and speaking. Three things that you need to be careful of: fluency, pronunciation, and content. Exactly same as read aloud. All three components are something you need to take care of. We've already discussed fluency. What is fluency? We've already discussed pronunciation. And content over here is the sentence that you're listening. So you have to make sure that you repeat the same sentence and you don't create your own sentence. Next is confidence is the key. You have to feel confident while doing this question, because if you are confident and you are energetic, you will speak clearly and you'll be able to repeat in a very good way. And the only way to reach to that level is practice a lot. Practice so many questions that you feel confident when you sit for your test. There is no other way you can feel confident other than practicing numerous questions. Next is understand the meaning, don't memorize. What does this mean? This means repeat sentence. I always tell my students it is not a memory test. All right. You listen to a sentence, you have to understand the meaning of a sentence. For example, the sentence is: it is a bright and sunny day and a perfect day to go to the park. So you have to visualize that it's bright, it's sunny. Let's go to the park, maybe for exercising or just for a walk. You have to visualize it in your memory. You have to understand the meaning of the sentence, and that's when you can repeat it confidently, clearly, and in a good fluent way. Because if I play a sentence that is, let's say, in Japanese language and you don't know Japanese language, will you be able to repeat the sentence? No, because you didn't understand the meaning of the sentence. You might be able to repeat one or two words maximum because you just remember them, but you can't repeat the entire sentence. But English, when you listen to a sentence, you will be able to repeat it because you've understood the meaning. And hence, whenever you practice repeat sentence, make sure that when you listen to the sentence, you understand the meaning of the sentence. That will give you the confidence to repeat it in the best possible way. Tips for long sentences. Now, I always tell my students that whenever you have extremely long sentence, always target to speak for more than 50% of the sentence. Don't target for 100% of the sentence. Even if you can speak 60-70% of the sentence in the correct sequence, that's very important, then you've won the battle. All right. So for normal, small, and average length sentences, you will be able to speak 100% of the sentence in the correct sequence if you have practiced a lot. But for long sentences, maybe the last 2 or 3 sentences are extremely long. For those sentences, not it is not possible to speak all the sentences 100% correct in the correct sequence. That is humanly not possible. We are not machines, we are human beings. So the error will happen. Don't expect too much out of yourself. But for long sentences, practice in a way that in the worst possible case you can at least repeat more than 50% so that you can get your desired score, which is enough. But for small and average length sentences, you should be able to speak 100%, and that should be your target, right? Avoid fillers. Avoid fillers means when you're speaking, don't take long pauses. It's just a sentence. So you shouldn't be hesitating, you shouldn't be taking pauses while speaking. That is not recommended. Once you start, make sure you finish, and then you obviously, when you finish, you click next and move on to the next question. Like, for example, the audio says, today is a beautiful, bright, and sunny day in Adelaide. For example, today is a beautiful, bright, and sunny day in Adelaide. Now, how do you repeat? Today is a beautiful, bright, sunny day in Adelaide. Let's say you've said like this. Now, you've missed one word and, but don't let that impact your performance. Whatever you repeat, repeat it clearly, repeat it confidently, without hesitating, without saying sorry, without fixing your error, without coming back. Don't do all that. Just repeat in a flow. That is what I recommend. And if you practice it every single day, let's say 30, 35 questions, maybe every single day, you will be able to ace this topic. All right. Now, let's move on to the next topic, which is the third topic of your exam, describe image. Now, this topic is not as difficult as other topics, like, for example, repeat sentence or read aloud, but still, I would say this is a scoring topic. So it is important to make sure that you master this. This is how your screen looks like. They will give you an image, maybe a colored image, maybe black and white, graph, any random image. It's there on your screen. They will first give you 25 seconds to prepare, which means preparation time is 25 seconds and the microphone is off. So you have to prepare. And then they will give you 40 seconds to answer. That means your answering time is 40 seconds. Now, this question gives scores only to speaking section. All right. Now, when a question is giving only scores to speaking section, I have to understand something, and that I will discuss very shortly. Fluency, pronunciation, and content. Again, all of them you have to make sure that you're fluent, you're speaking clearly, and obviously you're speaking based on the image you've got on your computer screen. Now, out of these three, the important ones are fluency and pronunciation, which means you have to speak in a good flow and you have to speak clearly. Content is not very important. Next is note down keywords in your notebook. So we will look at the template in the next slide and I'll explain you what I'm trying to say. KISS rule, always keep it simple. You have to make sure that you keep it simple, straightforward, to the point. Don't try and complicate it. It is not needed. 20 to 30 seconds is ideal. They will give you 40 seconds to answer, but you have to make sure that you speak for at least 20 seconds. Less than 20 seconds is not recommended. Anything more than 20 seconds is fine, but don't just keep on speaking and speaking till the last second, because if the computer cuts you off, it then gets registered as an incomplete answer. At the 40th second, if you're still speaking, the computer will cut you off. So I would say just stop after 20 seconds, try to finish your answer within, let's say, 20, 25, maximum 30. Don't go beyond that. It's not needed. And then conclusion is mandatory, which means I will share a template with all of you. Just follow that template and you will be fine. Okay. Let us look at the template. The template is on your left hand side and there's a question, describe image on your right hand side. Now let us look at the template. This image describes some important information. It also provides information about the image in various aspects, such as, now we have to write down 4 categories from the image. Preferably go for colors, okay? Black and white are there in every image. Most probably every image will have black because all the borders are with black and the background is white in color. So black, white, two categories are done. Then if you have more colors, go for them. If you don't have colors, then select anything simple. In this case, I can go for black, white, blue. Now I'm struggling to find the fourth color, but I can see there is a bit of gray background as well. I can say gray as well, right? So what you can do is you can say black, white, gray, blue, and so on. And these four categories you should write down in your notebook in those 25 seconds of your preparation time. Remember when we were discussing write down the categories in your notebook? These are the four categories that you need to be writing in your notebook in those 25 seconds of preparation time, because you have to understand that when you start answering, if you look at the image, there's so much of information on the in the image, right? It can get overwhelming for you. You may struggle to decide which one should I speak first, which one should be my next category, and that will lead to a lot of hesitation, unwanted pauses in your speaking, in your describe image. We want to avoid that. We don't want that. Hence, I will write down four categories in my notebook, in the notepad that I get in exam, so that when I start answering, all I'm doing is looking at those four categories and answering them so that I don't hesitate. So let's say my four categories are black, white, gray, and blue. So this is how I will speak. This image describes some important information. It also provides information about the image in various aspects such as black, white, blue, gray, and so on. It is evident from the image that black is on the left hand side of the image, whereas on the other hand, white is on the right hand side of the image. In conclusion, we can see that gray is at the top of the image, whereas on the other hand, blue is at the bottom of the image. That's it. Now you will say that content wise, this doesn't make sense. It's not, how do I speak this? I get it. But describe image is the game of your fluency. You have to speak in a good flow and you have to speak clearly, and you will get your score. You will get your speaking score. That's it. This is what you need to remember. Now let us move on to the fourth topic, the next topic for your PTE Core speaking section, and that is respond to a situation. Now the three topics that we have discussed before this, these are same for academic, but academic exam will not have respond to a situation. Only PTE Core will have respond to a situation. Let us see how to solve this question. So again, this is how your screen looks like. They will very clearly give you instructions. Listen to and read a description of a situation. So can you see the description that's there? You saw on a sign in your apartment building that a neighbor, that is the situation. And they will speak the same thing. So you are listening to the description and you can read it also. It's the same thing that happens, okay? You will have 20 seconds to think about your answer. So that means they're giving me 20 seconds to prepare, where my microphone is off and I can prepare. Then you will hear a beep. We will hear a beep. You will have 40 seconds to answer the question. So after the beep sound, your answering time starts. They will give you 40 seconds to answer. Let us look at those points that I've made for all of you for respond to a situation. So the first one is read the description and listen to the situation. So reading the description and listening to the situation is exactly the same. So when you're reading it, if you want, you can listen to it as well. Basically, whatever is written on your computer screen is the same thing that they are saying for you. So it's nothing different. Contributes towards speaking. This topic is giving marks only for speaking section, only for speaking. No other section is getting any score. So you have to make sure that you understand that when you are preparing for this topic, you're only preparing for speaking section. Again, fluency, pronunciation, and appropriacy. Now, what is appropriacy? Fluency and pronunciation we have discussed in the previous topics. That remains the same, nothing changes. Appropriacy means whatever you are speaking has to be appropriate, as in it has to be relevant to the situation that has been given to you. So I will show you how to do that. General scenarios, as in you will get some general scenarios. You'll not get very difficult or academic scenarios. Like for example, it is like you met someone in the shop. So what will you discuss about the upcoming event that you are planning with them? Something like that. Using the template. Now I will share the template with you and you can use the same template for any respond to situation question that you get. And speak for minimum 20 seconds, which means again, You should not be speaking for less than 20 seconds. A minimum of 20 seconds is recommended. A little more than 20 seconds is fine, but it's not needed. And then what happens is if you keep on speaking more and more, there are more chances of you making error. But I would recommend speak for minimum 20 seconds. And then if you're able to speak for 20 seconds, click next, move on to the next question when you finish your answer. So this is the most important part for respond to a situation. Left, it's your template. Right is your situation, your description, right? Let's say this is your exam question. So they've said you've organized a community garden project with your neighbors and everyone's excited to start planting. However, upon our arrival, you notice some garden beds are neglected with weeds growing rampant. You need to remind everyone of their responsibility to maintain their assigned plots to ensure the success of the garden. What would you say to your neighbors? So again, it's a very general scenario. You're talking to your neighbors, all right? So it doesn't need to be very professional. So the template is made in a way so that you don't have to think much. Look at the template. Hello. Now, person's name or profession. There's no name here, there's no profession here. So you can say, hello, neighbors, right? I am glad I got to talk to you. I am here to talk regarding. Now, the topic. This is what you can decide what will you say over here in those 20 seconds of preparation time that you get. So what you can say that over here, let's say in those 20 seconds, we can decide, let's say we say, I'm here to talk regarding community garden project with neighbors that everybody is excited to start planting about, but there are garden beds that are getting neglected with weeds growing rampant, and everyone should be responsible for their assigned plots to ensure the success of the garden. So have you done a lot of thinking? No. You have literally said something from the topic, which is absolutely fine because over here the marks are going only to speaking section, just like describe image. So you have to be fluent, you have to be clear, which means good fluency, good pronunciation. Content is not very important, and hence if you just speak something relevant to the topic, that is more than enough. You've given them enough material to assess you, right? And then everything else is template. So how can you say, hello neighbors, I'm glad I got to talk to you. I am here to talk regarding the organized community garden project with neighbors and that everybody is excited to start planting. However, upon arrival, I have noticed some garden beds are neglected with weeds growing rampant, and I would like to remind everyone of their responsibility to maintain their assigned plots to ensure the success of garden. I would request you to kindly take this under consideration and help me come to a resolution. Thank you very much for your time and I appreciate your support. And if there is anything else you need from me, please do let me know so that I can arrange for it and get back to you as soon as possible. So all you're doing is memorizing the template, speaking it fluently, clearly, and you have to just keep in mind that you say something from the topic in the first paragraph where it says repeat what the topic is about. You're just repeating the topic sentences. That's it. You're not creating your own ideas. You're not thinking of something out of the box, and that's about it. And you have to keep in mind that this question, respond to a situation, contributes only to speaking, and it is around 10 to 20 marks out of 90 for your speaking section. So definitely it is an important topic and you will have to practice and take care of your fluency, pronunciation, and content should be based on the topic sentence. All right. Now, let's move on to the last and the final topic of your speaking section, answer short questions. This question is not at all important, is what I would say. There is no need to prepare this question. I will just share what to do when this question comes up in exam so that you are mentally prepared and you know what to do. But you will only practice read aloud, repeat sentence, describe image, and respond to a situation. And that is more than enough. This question is not important. So again, this is how your computer screen looks like. You will listen to a question. Your job is to answer and you have to speak the answer. You're not writing anything. You have to speak the answer. Click next, move on to the next question. So what are the things you need to be careful of? In this question, I know I'm saying it's not important, but you're not skipping any question. You will not keep quiet for any question. You will definitely answer. Wrong or right, that is a different story, but you will not keep quiet. You will answer. It does contribute to listening and speaking because you're listening to the question and then you're speaking the answer out. Fluency, pronunciation, and content whatever you're speaking, a word, one word answer, that word should be clear. You should just speak it in a flow. And then obviously it has to do something with the question that has been asked, right? And then again, you click next, move on to the next question. And over here, you have to answer in words. Just answer in words. Don't speak sentences. Let's say, for example, the question is, what is the capital city of Australia? Don't say, Canberra is the capital city of Australia. No, just say Canberra. That's it. Say Canberra, click next, move on to the next question. Job done. So these were the tips for answering, as I've already shared. And sometimes what happens is they might give you options. For example, the same question. If they say, which is the capital city of Australia? And they say Melbourne or Canberra. You'll just say Canberra, click next and move on. For example, you don't know the answer. Just make a guesswork, anyone, and then just say, let's say Canberra. Click next, move on. Or if they have not given you the option, so you don't know what to guess, so then just repeat any one word from that question. So if the question is, what is the capital city of Australia, just say Australia, click next, move on, because this is not an important question, so we are not going to stress about it, right? These were the only tips that I wanted to share for answer short questions. They're not important. You may end up having a weightage of around 1 or 2 marks, but that's it. If you focus on first 4 topics that we've discussed, that is more than enough for you to ace your exam and get your desired score. I hope this video was helpful. Make sure you take notes and you follow all the strategies that I have shared. But if you feel that you need coaching and regular feedback on everyday basis, so that is what Manmohit and I do with our students. We create a group with them wherein in a group there's only one student and both of us are there in that group as well. And every single day we give them feedback for the work they've done, the audios that they post, the summaries they write, the essay they write, or any other topic, maybe write email or anything related to their exam. They post there and we just give them feedback. That's how they get their desired score, because every single day they are getting told that this is what you're doing, this is how you need to improve. And that's the reason for success for any student. With that, I wish you all the luck. Bye for now.